Hello and welcome. The Kotoka International Airport has updated its COVID-19 guidelines this time, ensuring that all passengers arriving in Ghana are vaccinated. Sources close to Joy Business at the airport say that all is set for the compulsory vaccination program at the airport for passengers who arrive without proof of full vaccination. It comes as government races to cut the spread of the importation of the Omicron variant. We have more in this report.
Processes, all international passengers, including those from the ECOWAS region intending to fly to Ghana, will be required to have a PanaBio account and must ensure to have a COVID test 72 hours before the scheduled departure time from their country of origin. Upon arrival, all passengers 18 years and above arriving in Ghana will be required to also provide evidence of full vaccination for a COVID-19 vaccine at the point of embarkation. There is an exemption, however, for all unvaccinated Ghanaians and residents of Ghana who are currently outside the country and intend to return within 14 days between the 14th and 28th of December 2021. They would, however, be vaccinated upon arrival at the airport. This is one of the tightest restrictions ever introduced at the Kotoka International Airport amid the global pandemic and the resurgence of the Omicron variant. Airlines who fail to comply will be surcharged $3,500 per passenger upon arrival at the Kotoka International Airport.
We still stay with the travel regulations at the Kotoka International Airport as we pull out some graphics on the details regarding this particular travel regulation. You can see on screens that when it comes to the pre-arrival processes, travelers intending to enter Ghana, all passengers, international passengers at that, including those from ECOWAS region, intending to fly to Ghana will be required to meet the following health regulations. For passengers who are already, having the PanaBio account, they must enter the country of origin and set the destination to Ghana in that regard. Passengers as well who do not have an account should create an account on the AU-endorsed site. You can see that on your screens. It also goes on to say that all persons, 18 years and above arriving in Ghana will be required to provide evidence of full vaccination for the COVID-19 vaccine at the point of embarkation. And of course, it clearly defines a fully vaccinated person. Someone who is vaccinated must have taken the full dose of vaccines approved and registered by the Food and Drugs Authority of Ghana. He or she should have the doses of the vaccines which are of World Health Organization's emergency use listing. So these are some of the guidelines at the Kotoka International Airport taking effect from tomorrow. Let's bring the aviation expert Sean Mendes on this development. Sean, we're grateful that you could join us. Mandatory vaccinations for international travelers. Could this impact passenger traffic to Ghana this Christmas?
Thanks for having me, Charles. You know what? I think there is always going to have to be a balance to be found between the economic impact and the public health impact of any protocols that are put in place to combat the pandemic. I don't think that vaccinations themselves are going to have a direct impact in terms of driving down passenger numbers. When we discussed this last year, I think we had mentioned that, Africa will be behind the curve and it's probably going to be around 2022 before mandatory vaccinations become reality in Africa. And I think Ghana is one of the first African countries now who are taking the step with vaccines pretty much available to anybody who wants them now in most African countries. This is not something that, that is going to drive people away who want to travel, but who are unable to access the vaccine. So I think that the people who are planning to travel are already vaccinated or have access to the vaccines. And I think it's actually something which will help boost the safety rather than drive down the numbers.
Great. We can talk about the Omicron variant and its resultant travel bans. What must be the concerted response from Africa's aviation industry?
Well, I think that the travel bans against many African countries, and it is primarily African countries who are being hit with these travel bans over Omicron, are quite ridiculous. In a lot of cases, these travel bans are being imposed by countries which have higher rates of infection of the Omicron variant themselves than the countries upon which they are placing the bans. There is a question which I think needs to be asked, whether these countries are doing this with any scientific justification or whether they are simply doing it because they can pick on Africans easily, and that allows them to, to make a political point to their domestic audience that, look, we are doing something. So I think it's very shameful that a lot of these countries, the US, the UK, the EU, for example, who have placed bans on African countries, even though some of these African countries do not even have cases of the Omicron variant.
We do know that, your country, Malawi, and other African countries are, towing the same line when it comes to the new travel regulations. Passengers who come in without vaccines get mandated to have a vaccine in that regard. But how much, tightened measure is much more of a restriction, if we could put it that way, for international travelers?
Well, there are two tools at our disposal to combat the spread of the variants when traveling. One of these is testing, and one of these is vaccination. I think a lot of African countries led the way in terms of using testing as a means to be able to prevent transmission of spread through travel. And now that vaccination has become so widespread across the African continent, or at least access to vaccination has become widespread throughout the African continent, it is the next logical tool. Remember, most African countries already have very strong vaccination programs and have mandates of vaccination for things like yellow fever to enter them anyway. If you show up at Accra or at Lilongwe without a yellow fever vaccination, you will be sent to Port Health and forced to take the vaccination right there. This is no different. COVID is going to become endemic, similar to the way yellow fever has in parts of the world. And there's no reason why a country should have to let somebody in who is not willing to take the appropriate public health measures, such as taking a vaccination, in order to enter their country.
And of course, we shall stay with this shortly to give you updates in our subsequent bulletins on how the entire regulations come in effect from tomorrow go. Sean, we're grateful that you could join us, and we're grateful once again for your thoughts on this story. But away from that, the umbrella body of insurance professionals, the Chartered Insurance Institute of Ghana, says it will champion the redefinition of the sector's penetration rates to reflect that of pensions and health insurance. Currently, the sector's contribution to GDP is hovering around 1%, limited to only life and non-insurance premium contributions. But speaking to Joy Business at the 2021 CIIG Educational Conference on the annual general meeting, President of the Institute, Teria Ben Ahmed, says the current rate is not a true reflection of insurance business in Ghana. We have more in this report.
According to the CIIG, compared to some other jurisdictions on the continent, Ghana's measure of the penetration rate is constrained by the exclusion of health insurance and pensions assets. Citing South Africa's sector as an example, President of the CIIG, Teria Ben Ahmed, told Joy Business that it has become imperative to review the factors that contribute to insurance penetration in Ghana.
The 1% insurance penetration is made up of only life insurance and general insurance. And that's, as of 2020, the market premium was about 3.9 billion, 2 billion of which is the contribution of life insurance, and about 1.9 billion of which is the contribution of general insurance. Now, if you look at what has happened at today's opening program, you realize that we have sought to ensure that we bring together all sectors of insurance in Ghana at this conference. So insurance is not only about life insurance and general insurance. Insurance is also about health insurance. Insurance is also about pensions. And so in the first quarter of 2022, CIG is going to come up with a journal. And the CIG journal is going to redefine insurance penetration in Ghana. And to have a consolidated view of insurance penetration, so that when we talk about insurance penetration in Ghana, it's not only the contribution of life and general insurance.
Meanwhile, the Commissioner of Insurance, Dr. Justice Yaofori, has expressed optimism about the new Insurance Act to improve insurance penetration.
The passage of Insurance Act 2021, Act 1061, has opened up new opportunities in innovation, insurance, and has ethical requirements for insurers. The Act will be supplemented with regulations to ensure that the benefits of this forward-thinking legislation is fully reaped by the market. It is hoped that this will result in the growth of the insurance sector, leading to the development of the national economy.
The three-day 2021 Chartered Insurance Institute of Ghana Educational Conference and Annual General Meeting was themed Increasing Insurance Penetration and Coverage, Role of Regulations, Innovation and Ethics.
Now, the Chief Executive Officer of the Premier Health Insurance, Percy Asare Ansah, is asking government as a matter of importance to offer tax rebates to local private health insurance companies. He says apart from taxes affecting operations, abysmal performance of the city is a great concern due to importation of drugs, reagents, among others. Mr. Asare Ansah was speaking to Joy Business at the company's 10th anniversary Thanksgiving Awards and Cocktail Night in Tema. Correspondent Kwame Yanka has more.
Premier Health Insurance has weathered the storm despite the difficult terrain in which the indigenous company operates. From scratch, the health insurance company has been able to build its client base, which is close to 95,000 at the moment, cutting across professions and individuals. However, to be able to provide optimum service in the 7 regions and beyond, Chief Executive Officer for Premier Health Insurance, Percy Asare Ansah, is asking for tax rebates and strengthening of the CD.
In Ghana, as a normal startup company, not unlike foreign companies who sometimes enjoy tax holidays and others, we did not have anything of the sort. So we had to struggle through all these, but all the time we are able to overcome it. We are praying that the CD also will not depreciate so much, because anytime CD depreciates, it affects our business, since most of our components, drugs, reagents and others are imported from outside.
Meanwhile, Percy Asare Ansah says the company has been able to sign a contract with Ghana Medical Association to provide insurance cover for doctors.
Yes, we still do the corporate health insurance cover, which we have a lot of corporate clients on. But our mission, we want to get more people on to have access to quality health insurance in Ghana. And that is why we thank God that at least we have signed a contract with GMA to get all the doctors who are with GMA in Ghana health insurance cover recently, so that the doctors who are caregivers will also have the best of care in the country anytime they need health care. We are now 95,000. By the next 10 years, we should be over 1 million clients.
Premier Health Insurance is looking forward to spreading its wings to other parts of the African continent in the next decade.
Well, a story that could put the smiles on investors. Ghana is ranked the 8th biggest economy in Africa by the World Bank's latest report dubbed African countries with the highest gross domestic product over time. The report captured the total monetary or market value of all goods and services produced within an economy last year. Charles Nixon Yeboah has more in this report.
This is a vast improvement compared to the year 2005, in which the nation was outside the bracket of the top 10 biggest economies in Africa. However, with an economic size of $72.4 billion according to the World Bank, the country has witnessed consistent expansion in its economy in the last 15 years. That is largely boosted by oil production, which is now a critical sector of the economy. Ghana was one of the few African countries that witnessed a marginal growth of 0.4% in its economy last year after the global economy was battered by COVID-19. Despite this impressive growth rate of the economy in the past years, many economists, analysts and market watchers have questioned the impact of the country's high growth rate on real jobs and infrastructural development. They claim a better way of assessing the real impact of economic growth is through indicators such as happiness index and consumer confidence index. Meanwhile, with a total GDP of $432.3 billion, Nigeria was the biggest economy on the African continent last year. It was followed by Egypt and South Africa in second and third positions respectively.
You're still watching The Marketplace. The Ghana Enterprises Agency, in partnership with Mondelez Cocoa Life, has launched a youth project to support cocoa farmers to improve their yields. And of course, the initiative dubbed Farm Service Providers is a year's intervention for youth, young people in the central and eastern regions to make some income in providing services for cocoa farmers. The chief executive of the Ghana Enterprise Agency, Koshianke Ayem, spoke to Joy Business after launching the event.
The program, the Youth as Farm Service Providers project, which looks at building entrepreneurship out of the cocoa sector, especially focused on the youth, is a one-year program from November, which started November this current year, and would lead to November next year.
How much are you committing to it?
A few millions would go into it.
How many people are benefiting from the first go?
Over 400 people will benefit in the first year. As you're aware, this is a pilot project and we hope to build on it. And also this aligns very well with government's initiative. As you're aware, government in the budget talks about a sustainable entrepreneurial nation with a strong focus on the youth. So this program is in alignment with that to see how we build the youth across various sectors, and even in the agri sector and even in the cocoa sector, and how best we can strengthen them so that they can start businesses to support the farmers and then be able to grow the sector further.
Country lead for the Cocoa Life program, Ya Prepra Amekuzi, explains that the initiative will go a long way to improve the livelihoods of the beneficiary youth as well as boosting cocoa production in the country.
Project that seeks to ensure that cocoa sustainability is really grounded in the field, in the sense that the future of cocoa is the youth. Without the youth, we will not have the cocoa that we want to have in Ghana. So this one is to provide skills, to provide finance, to provide access for young people so that they can make a living out of cocoa in the communities in which they live, because they live in cocoa communities and there are so many opportunities in these communities that we don't want them to leave. So these are the targets young people are well-educated young people who have the interest to see to their development of their community and have a passion for it.
How were they selected?
They were selected based on their own interests. So we did some studies, we did some assessment, and the young people in these communities, some of them have already been providing such services, but almost like free of charge. So this was one that we felt would professionalize what they are doing and for them to earn an income from it, so that it's not like every day they are being called upon to provide free services.
Away from that, the Hydro Cooperative Credit Union of the Volta River Authority says it will continue to leverage technology to meet the demands of its customers. According to the board chairman, Joseph Asari Ketuku, the move will ensure efficiency and sustainable growth of the company. He was speaking at the 41st annual general meeting of the company themed Building and Sustaining the Hydro Credit Union Business, the Role of Key Stakeholders. We have more in this report.
Hydro Cooperative Credit Union witnessed a slight reduction in profit to 5.5 million cedis last year from 6 million cedis the previous year. This was as a result of the challenges and turbulence within the financial sector and the economy. However, it declared a dividend of 30% out of its profit for shareholders. Here's board chairman Joseph Asari Ketuku.
The board has over the past 8 months worked with the sector ministry, the Department of Cooperative, KUA, and other business partners, among others. Ladies and gentlemen, the 41st Annual General Meeting is being organized under the theme Sustaining the Hydro Cooperative Credit Union Business, the Role of the Major Stakeholders in the midst of COVID-19. It is imperative to know that we have witnessed various crises that has challenged Ghana's economy. The cleanup of the financial sector that was undertaken by the Central Bank and Securities and Exchange Commission in 2019 caused the collapse of some commercial banks whose licenses were revoked. Some financial houses were also closed, including microfinances and savings and loans. This led to the lock-up funds of businesses, individuals, and credit unions, members, who were also affected. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, whilst individuals and businesses were still counting their losses, the situation was further exacerbated by the emergence of the COVID-19 pandemic, which went through a series of phases, and now the phase of the Delta variant. It has profoundly affected businesses and the way of life. No wonder this AGM is being organized virtually. The food for thought for all of us here is that how do we sustain our credit union business model, of which Hydro Cooperative Credit Union is not an exception, in the face of the changing economic, social, technological, and regulatory environment.
Hydro Cooperative Credit Union is owned by the staff of the Volta River Authority with the mission of helping members to attain a lifetime financial freedom through provision of unique blend of savings and loans at competitive rates. James Ishen's report for Joy Business.
This is the Marketplace. We'll take a short break. We'll be right back. Just stay with us. Hello and welcome. A commemorative gold coin has been launched in the name of the Asante Hene Otumfuo II for his peace-building endeavors, including the decades-long Dagbon crisis and election mediations. The 24-karat coin, according to government, is an initiative to also promote value addition to Ghana's gold minerals locally. Prince Apia was at the event that launched the coin and now reports.
The event brought together about 600 high-profile persons from every sphere of Ghana's gold and natural resource industry. The commemorative gold coin was meant to celebrate the Asante Hene as a pillar of peace in the country. Governor of Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ernest Addison, explained the essence of the coin.
The gold coins will be of no monetary value. By that we mean it would not be a medium of exchange and not exactly a legal tender. As a result, the commemorative coin is not expected to display any face value to avoid the risk of being confused with legal tender in circulation.
The event, organized by Eon 3 Group, PMMC, and the Lands and Natural Resource Ministry, supported. Sector Minister Samuel Abdullahi Jinapo says the initiative is to promote the value addition of gold locally.
This partnership is in accord with the far-sighted vision of the distinguished President of our Republic, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, to transform our national economy, which is dependent on the production and export of raw materials, to a value-adding, industrialized, and prosperous economy. The addition of these gold coins, embossed with the image of His Royal Majesty, will go a long way to help support our efforts to promote the jewelry industry.
The commemorative gold coin was also to celebrate Asante Hene's socio-political role in Ghana's economy. Here is Asante Hene Otumfuo II.
It is my hope that the success of the commemorative gold coin we launched tonight will convince the nation that there's room for more innovative ways to help us to maximize the basis of our nation's wealth. Asanteman will play its part in this exercise and will encourage other traditional leaders to harness the creative talents at their disposal to make it a worthy global effort.
The Asante Hene reiterated the need for the country to work to protect the peace it is currently enjoying.
I ask our leaders from all shades of political opinion, our social commentators who control the space of public discourse, and captains of finance and business whose enterprises depend on the climate of success. It is time to stop the nation bleeding to extinction. The good people of Ghana take pride in their commitment to democratic governance. We have been proud to be an oasis of peace in an isle of torrent, and our record as a thriving democracy has served us well and made the chosen destination of many investors. What we dare not forget is that democracy is not a static object. Nothing in statecraft really is. Democracy is a work in progress.
Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia acknowledged Asantehene's contribution to Ghana's peace.
We saw what he did in 2016 when this country was on the brink as far as the election was concerned. We saw his action and how he brought peace. We saw Dagbon, and after which he worked on for 17 years before we got peace in Dagbon.
That'll be all for the marketplace, but please follow us on Facebook, that's at Joy Business, and LinkedIn at Joy Business Ghana for more updates in the world of business. I'm Charles Ayton. Many thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of our programs.